Well, the switchboard has lit up, so let's hear from Brian in Grimsby, who can understand why people vote BNP. Let's hear from Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
Good evening, George.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, well, I'm against racism, the same as most of the people probably that voted for these. I think it was a protest vote where people, the ordinary people in this country, are frightened of being second-class citizens. We've got that many influx of Eastern Europeans, and when town halls are frightened to fly their own Union Jack on St George's Day because it might offend some other nationality. No other country in the world is frightened to fly its own flag in case it upsets somebody else. If you can't fly the Union Jack in England, where can you fly it?
Well, that's just a crock, Brian, isn't it? I mean, every single thing you said there was false, and it may be that you don't know that. It may be that you're just a particularly stupid man, but let me set you right on a few things. First of all, there's nobody complaining about any town hall flying the Union Jack. Nobody
You're not
at all.
reading the papers, then?
Well, no, but you read the wrong papers, you see. You read the gutter. You read the gutter press, which has played such a role in poisoning the minds of fools like you and marching you out to vote for these kinds of parties.
No, I haven't voted for them.
These kinds of parties. I don't know.
I haven't voted for them, and I don't agree with their things.
Well, but you're on the radio, you're on national radio, repeating their lies and their falsehoods. There is no ethnic minority. I defy you to provide a scrap of evidence that any ethnic minority in this country has ever objected to any town hall.
A typical thing the school my children go to, in Grimsby, cancelled the nativity play because it might upset Muslim children or other...
Well, it may be that you're telling the truth.
It's ridiculous.
Brian, it may be that you're telling the truth, or it may be that you're lying, but I can assure you there is no ethnic minority ever called for the cancellation of a nativity play.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't. That's just another lie.
It's not the ethnic minorities. They're not against it. The Evening Grimsby, the Muslims said, we're not against it. You should have the nativity. It's the it's the English people that are in charge.
Well, why are you blaming?
They're the ones that are wrong.
But why are you blaming the ethnic minorities? Why
I'm not blaming the ethnic. No, I'm not blaming it.
Yes, you are. You talk about inundating the country with Eastern
Europe people.
Well,
it's the English people that are wrong.
Well, look, Brian,
not the ethnic minorities.
Well, I don't know why you keep mentioning Muslims, because you actually started talking about an influx of East European immigrants.
I'm talking general influx.
Well, no, you're talking general rubbish, but it's the point that your scattergun approach. 1 minute you're talking about East Europeans, then you're segueing into Muslims, which is really what's at the heart of your call, and you're such a coward, you've run away from the telephone so that we can't continue this debate. Now, Zach in Highbury says he voted BNP, but of course, he's not a racist, so let's find out why he did. Zach, welcome to the show. Go ahead, tell us, why did you vote for them?
Right, listen, don't get me wrong, I don't agree with all the BNP policies. The racism thing is bang out of order. I have a lot of friends from the black, Indian and Muslim communities, right? So I'm not a racist. I don't care what you say or anyone else says. I voted BNP purely because of the immigration situation.
What immigration situation is that?
I work in the building trade, right?
Yeah.
And you come to work, you do your day's work, you walk home, you get your money at the end of the week. But it's come to light over the past few years that the influx of foreign workers for less money than what the British workers work for has come to a head. I've got friends out of work who have done their apprenticeships, survived on no money, got their trade, and then to be told they've got 4 immigrants, say, that will work for the same money that he'll get an hour.
Are you in building trade union, Zach?
I am. I'm in UCAT.
Then that's a matter for the union to combine around, isn't it?
No, because if you're on a building site, George, and you walk on and you say you'll do a job for 500 quid, 9 times out of 10 you'll get a foreign worker that will come along and say he'll do the same job for £200.
But then but if the rest of the guys walked off, there would be no point in the employer hiring them.
Hold on, but as you're in the middle of a recession, you're not going to get this.
Well, let's explore this if we can. These workers are presumably, building workers, presumably from the new entrants to the European Union, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking Pakistanis, Bangladeshis,
No, I work
Indians.
with a few Indian boys and a lot of Asian people. I do whatever, and they all agree with the same thing that everyone is arguing about in the building trade.
Right.
And the only party that come to my eyes, and if all the boys at work, was the BNP. Labour don't want to do nothing about it. They've let loads of people in illegally. The Tories don't seem to want to do anything about it.
But hold on, Zach. We're not talking about illegal, are we? We're talking about building workers from the European Union.
Yes, that will work for less money, George.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be happy. Hold on. You wouldn't be happy of a.
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
I
So
wouldn't.
that's the only party that come to light that looked like they were going to do anything was the BNP. And I'm not a racist, George. I'll tell you straight down, I'm not a racist.
Well,
I don't agree with racism, but because I don't agree with the way the BNP does the racism thing, that is complete and utter rubbish. All I'm looking at is the immigration situation and the work situation for myself and fellow British people that should have jobs over people that aren't born in this country.
What about the fact, Zach, that many British building workers work in other European countries, and always have, as a matter of fact?
Well, they should respect the laws of that country, shouldn't they? They should respect the rules of that country.
Well, in what sense are these European
I'm
building
saying
workers
is
not accepting the rules of this country?
Well, if you come over, George, if you were from an Eastern European country, say, right, and you come over to Britain and you needed to work, would you work for £4 an hour?
No, it's illegal.
Right,
That's illegal.
hold on, right,
Zach,
so
it's illegal to work for £4 an hour.
£6 an hour, sorry.
Oh, well, okay. If they're
Right.
working for less than the minimum wage, you should call the police.
Hold on. If you have an electrician who will work for £6 an hour from Eastern Europe, and a British electrician who served his apprenticeship, served his time, done all the training, and who will only work for, say, £12 an hour, do you think it's right that an Eastern European worker should get the job over the British worker?
Definitely not. If I were in the building trade, I would be an active trade unionist trying to stamp that out, like they did at the Lindsay oil refinery, where
Yeah,
they
I
said
appreciate that,
we're
but you're-
not prepared to accept any workers, whatever colour they are, coming from anywhere
But
to
it's
undercut.
happening, George.
Yeah,
It's happening.
but the people at the oil refinery, they struck against it and they won.
You would have to knock every single building site in the UK for this to happen.
Well, but in a sense, that's what we're
And
going to have to do.
Is that going to happen? Be realistic, George. Come on.
Well, it's a better way forward, Zach.
But is it going to happen? Be honest with me.
Well, if the unions pick up the baton on this,
Right.
then it can happen, Zach.
Well, we've tried this on the site I'm on. We've tried to sign people up to the union, and they've signed up, but no one will actually stand up and do it.
All right, Zach. Thanks for your call.